Hello, Truth Seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, the reason you're not able to end your inner struggle is because you don't know who you are. Isn't it? Look at yourself and ask yourself, do I know who I am? If you say you know who you are, let me tell you, what is that? That is simply the identification that you have collected from your experience. We put ourselves in the world, we experience the world, and from there we collect ideas, collect credentials, and we identify ourselves with that, and that is who we are right now. But beyond that, you don't know who you are. Do you know who you are without the layers that you have collected so far? Now, if you identify yourself with those layers, notice something here. Are you able to dissolve the inner conflict? Are you able to dissolve the inner struggle in you? If the struggle, if the pain, the fear is there within you, that means whatever you have become so far is not real. Yes, it is definitely real in a practical sense to be part of the world. But when it comes to knowing the inner truth, it is not true, because it's not helping you to dissolve your fear in your life, dissolve the inner struggle in your life. Isn't it? So, another reason not to able to end the struggle is because we are lacking the introspective journey, the inward journey in dismantling. Dismantling is the way to figure out who we are. Right now, who we are is the layers we have collected, and that has become the mind. Mind is always shifting, changing with experience. Upgrade is coming. Upgrade is another layers in us. No matter how upgraded layers we have collected in us, it doesn't solve the inner struggle. You might see the layer is helping you in the beginning, because in the beginning, there's a spark. You see that something is working, but stay with that, upgrade. By the way, even you have an upgrade, amazing upgrade in your life, you have already afraid of losing that upgrade. So you hold on to that upgrade so tight. That itself is a sign of fear. That itself is a sign of resistance to the way things are. We're resisting the reality as it. Gripping something, holding on something as true itself is a fight. That fight is already in a struggle. The inner fear is making you hold on to something tight. Notice how many things in life you are holding on to so tight. Every aspect of life we are holding on to. We're gripping so hard. And that grip itself is, physical struggle, the mental struggle, the emotional entanglement. Do you see that? Just pause and take a look at yourself again, and how many places you are, holding things tight. Simple example is this: you're holding tight in your relationship. You're holding tight in your career. Holding tight of your culture. And so on. Everything that is giving you the identification as who you are, and that identification is helping you to maintain the safety, the comfort, the pleasure. It's the attachment. Why we attach to things? Because we don't know who we are. Until we solve this journey by taking out all the false identification in us, or all identification in us, then the journey to be free is impossible. Any attachment, even a subtle attachment, tiny attachment, block us to see the real truth, the inner truth, the unchanging truth in us. Especially, we have a hard time letting go of the identification, is because the life is supported by those identification, and the outside, in a relative sense, the experience is more practical. When something is realistic on the outside and practical, it's very hard to disengage from that. And that's the reason we keep holding on to that identification, and we have hard time to create an inward journey. If the inward journey is there, then also the inward journey is halfway. The inward journey is there until we see the root of the struggle. And once we see the root of the struggle, then we're changing that root struggle with a new seed, the positive seed in life. Life outside, in the relative sense, is positive, definitely is positive. But planting the positive seed without seeing the truth is another trap as well. You were in a different hole before, you were struggling. Now you're discarding that stuff by, planting the new seed. That's another hole. The seed is you. You are putting yourself in a different hole. In the beginning, you see the detachment from the, past belief and experience by the investigating your life, figuring out the root. Now you forgetting that root, but planting the new seed to become a new you. And it only go to a certain extent. I have mentioned in the previous video that that new seed is already coming from the place of resistance of the old root. Comes from the fear of don't want to struggle anymore. That's why you're planting the new seed. You becoming the new seed for new you. It doesn't work though. Notice some of you have done this so many times, but you're still in that inner conflict. The struggle is still there, the inner struggle. The inner struggle is continuing from that. You are stressing out, isn't it? Reflection is important in life so that we can see what's happening. No matter what you are adding in your life to make your life good, if your inner struggle is not ending, that means, you are just trapping in another identification. And all this identification is coming from the place of ego. Ego seek identification. Ego prolongs this identification. Ego seek another upgraded identification. And that's the nature of ego self. Always seeking for upgrade. No matter how upgraded life you build up, no matter how much credential you collect, when you don't know who you are, the struggle continues. The pain continues. So the solution to overcome, to dissolve the inner struggle is, being part of the inward journey all the way until there is no more root is left by deconstructive approach. Not just finding the root and planting the new seed for new life. That is half cooked. Here's the thing. Most of the therapists, the counselor you are seeing provides you that, isn't it? That's the reality. The therapist, the counselor will, take you in the journey, the inward journey, where the pain is coming from. And they will let you see where the pain is coming from. And they ask you to discard your conditioning by adding something. And again, in the beginning, it's somewhat, you see the pain. When you see where the pain is coming from, that will make you alive. Oh, I'm seeing it. But after seeing it, what's the next step? Dissolving, discard, dismantling the root further. And that's the part is missing, in pretty much everyone's life. If further back is there, that's the way to enlighten oneself. That's the way to see the inner truth. That's the way to be free from the inner struggle. Right now, majority of the world is struggling. When you listen to your family, your friends, what they are pouring in front of you, isn't that the struggle they are pouring? Isn't that the pain they are pouring in front of you? You hear it, right? It's their struggle, it's their fear. Family is having this, experience. Your neighbor is having this experience. Your community is having this experience. Your country is having this experience. The whole world is in the same momentum of struggle. And that's the reason there's a division. That's the reason there's a war. All this outer violence is coming from the place of inner conflict. There are wars happening in the world. If these people work on themselves, which is not going to happen, when someone is deeply ingrained in their ego self, in their make-believe world, they won't be able to, work on themselves. But just imagine if they step back from the war and reflect on their inner turmoil, inner struggle, what would be the world like? We can imagine, right? So, dissolving all the outer violence, the division, the hate can be solved from the inward journey on dismantling the mind by discarding the identification that we have collected as who we are. When we say I am this, I am that, that itself is a division. We gotta go, all the way back until there's no mind is left, no ego is left. And that's where the clarity comes in. That's where the peace is there. The unchanging happiness, the unchanging peace is there. Where the inner struggle dissolves. So that's the journey until we be part of the inward journey in dismantling our identification as who we are. The inner struggle stays. That means the life continue with, the struggle. And that's this struggle itself is, a knock. Hey, there's something not right. That's why we seek for freedom. When you seek for freedom, don't go halfway. Your awareness is the key to dissolve all struggle in your life. But to do that, self-inquiry, my friend. So, witness yourself. That's the start. And dismantle your identification. Dismantle who you are right now until nothing is left. And ask yourself, who am I? And that the final who am I is going to help you drop your ego. When the ego drops, there's no struggle. The ego makes you struggle. When the ego is dissolved, no struggle. And the inward journey, dismantling the mind, is the way to get there, to see the plain sight truth and resting in the plain sight truth. Okay? I hope this video makes sense to you to some extent. Thanks for watching this video, and support this video, support this channel by giving the thumbs up, which is by subscribing. Okay? That would be the support on this side. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Take care for now. See you in the next video. Bye.